My name is Pavel. I came to America about 11 years ago as an exchange student in high school. I came from Czech Republic, which many people consider to be the most atheist country in the world. A kid in high school invited me to Evergreen, where I got introduced to the Christian faith. People at Evergreen embraced me into their church, and not only that, one family even took me into their home, and I ended up living with them for 6 years. I really became a part of the family there. Now I am married, and my wife and I are involved in leading a growth group here at Evergreen. I can't imagine where I would be now if these Evergreeners didn't sacrifice their time to make an unbelievable difference in my life.
My name is Paulo, and this is my wife Michelle. We started coming to Evergreen about 10 years ago. We were both brought up in a home where God was either very distant or non-existent at all. However, we both knew we needed to pursue God and find out who He was. Then we received this flyer in the mail telling us about this church in Bloomington. When we attended, we could not believe the messages that we had heard. The Bible became so real to us. We both accepted Christ during our first summer attending this church, and Evergreen has grown and strengthened our faith beyond our imagination. Our true friendships are now with the people here at this church that we love to be with.
My name's Casey Flynn. I attend Evergreen Bloomington. I started coming about 11 years ago with my parents, and I was basically just forced to come for a long time, just kind of hard-hearted towards the whole idea of church and everything. And I was just kind of going with the crowd, trying to satisfy my own desires, just being selfish about the whole idea. And in 2002, I was invited to go to a youth retreat, which I tried to get out of, but my mom ended up forcing me to go. And it ended up being an awesome experience. The love of the youth and the leaders at the retreat just made me really see my need for Christ and made me really desire to have Christ in my life. And now Christ has allowed me to grow and change in ways that I never would have imagined, and He's changing me each day.
Hi, my name is Emily Munt, and these are my parents, Steve and Mary. We did not start attending Evergreen as a family. In 2004, I was living out of state and going through a dark period of my life, and my mom kept telling me about this awesome church she found and that people were praying for me. I didn't actually know what that meant at the time. A few months later, I moved back home, and I attended Evergreen for the first time, and I knew there was something different about this place. A month or so later, I joined a growth group at the fall kickoff. My mom also joined a women's group that catered towards women whose husbands did not belong to the church or not part of growth groups. My dad actually started coming to Evergreen several months later, and what an answer to prayer that was. I had never attended church with my father before. They are now part of a couples growth group and attend the marriage conference every year. Evergreen has changed the dynamics of our family, and it's for the first time we have a church together.
My name is Mike. I've been coming to Evergreen for 15 years. I was brought to Evergreen by a family that took care of me while my mom worked. She was a single parent. Shortly after that, I accepted Christ at a summer camp, and I thought that was that. Through my teenage years, I struggled with feeling worthless and my self-identity. In the youth ministry, I noticed the joy that was in the students' and leaders' lives because they found their identity and their worth in Christ. And at that point, I decided that was something I wanted for myself, and I decided to live my life for Christ. After I graduated high school 10 years ago, I started serving in the ministry, and I've been there ever since, and it's been awesome.
My name is Mark Leonard, and this is my wife Brenda. We've been attending the Bloomington location for 10 years. We've been married for 8 years, and right when we started going out, we were divorced already, but we both had 2 kids at the same age, and we wanted to get married right away. But before we got married, we wanted to get this kid thing figured out, and we wanted to get this marriage thing figured out. But after 7 years, we still hadn't gotten it figured out. So we started attending Evergreen, and Evergreen got us set up with Fit to be Tied and had us make some other changes in our lives. But before we were even married, this man from Evergreen kept calling us about small groups for blended families. We agreed to attend one class, but little did we know that this class would help us get through tough times and save our marriage. So 8 years later, Brenda and I have been leading small groups for the last 6 years, and we still make mistakes. We still have challenges, but we're still together. Thanks, Evergreen, for keeping us closer to God and our family also.